What up, Keyforge? I am Zoc. That's right, we are the Night Train coming at you. Or, to all you all across the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. We are continuing on with another match of the final Refrain. This, of course, is the worldwide Archon tournament with some of the best players all over the world, put on by Emperor Riku, with Orion and Lord Judo really helping out a lot too. So we got another round of 32 match today, and it's going to be a good one with JDG314 and Nunzio. Hey, Amber Souls, nice to see you. This is not a final. The tournament is called the Final Refrain, and while we're talking about it, let's take a look. Take a look at it. So this here is the bracket, and last night we saw in the bottom left here Vargas versus Captain Crispy. Today we're going to be over on the bottom right bracket, JDG314 versus Nunzio. The winner of this will go on to compete against the winner between the Wookiee and Rodion. Hey, Liquid Squash, no delay today. No delay. All right, let's get into our competitors. Starting with JDG314 from Canada, he was the U.S. National Alliance runner-up and the Canada National Archon runner-up, and also the Archon runner-up at the Seattle Vault Tour with his deck Chandra the Probably Complex, although he's bringing another deck into this matchup. And of course, known for his quote, thinking. I'm sure we'll see that a lot today. Really quickly, this is Nunzio from Italy. He was the 2024 Italy Vault Tour runner-up and the KFPL 5 Bracket C champion, with his winning deck Z Artiglio Clark La Forte di Zafiro, and I'm sure I butchered that. And that's also what he's not bringing to this match, so that's also interesting. And his quote is, "It doesn't matter what deck you have, it matters how you use it." Okay, we will quickly get into the deck comparison, but let me make sure. See, our competitors may already be. Okay, give me just a moment. We will come back to the decks. We need to jump right in. They are off and running. So we need to change the players here. We should have some opportunity to check out their decks in detail. They are going to recreate with a limit. I'll probably going to have to change the what names go where again. We'll see. So while they are recreating, let's get back. So this is the matchup, the deck comparison here. On the left, we have Tiva Kari, which is JDG314's deck. And then on the right, we have Pitbull, which is Nunzio's deck. And you can see they're very similar, both mass mutations. The only two mass mutation decks in the whole tournament, both with this and logos, one with Star Alliance, one with Saurian. They are actually going to get started right now, so we will get into the rest of the deck details in just a little moment. Hey, nice to see you, Unfathomable. Yes, there's going to be a lot of Infernuses on play. Oh, JDG314 with a killer start playing autoencoder turn 1. Nunzio also playing autoencoder turn 1. Then Lethalogica discarding a defense initiative, Inspector, Anguish, Infernus, and taking into his hand Master the Theory, playing out as Cronus, and then playing Master the Theory, which has a draw pip on it. So he's also going to be able to archive one. A very quick start for both players. Hey Rodion, yes, I believe this is the Brazilian Mass Mutation deck party. I hope you brought drinks. So on one side, okay, JDG quickly goes back into logos, just discards Infomorph and Oddclad, feeding his archives, and passes back over to Nunzio. So this is going to be an Infernus battle, a control battle. We see here JDG's deck has double Infernus with Stirring Grave and Grim Reminder to get him back. Also has Markadis and Eaton's Jar. And Harvest Time is also going to be very interesting. And Nunzio's deck has triple Infernus, Cyberclone, double Cronus with some drop pips, and then lots of Amber manipulation and Saurian. Okay, so Nunzio went into Disc, played Dominator Bobble, plays Pain Reaction, passes. JDG goes into Star Alliance, discards Sensor Chief Garcia, discards Access Denies, and then plays a Sensor Chief Garcia. So, really feeding that archives. He does have Eaton's Jar. I wonder, once he gets it, what is he going to call? Nunzio gets his Curiosaurus on the board, though. Also plays Xenosaurus, exalting it to destroy the Sensor Chief Garcia, discarding the Theros Centurion to feed his autoencoder. More discards coming from JDG, and we see Eaton's Jar hitting the board. He discards Drekker and Waking Nightmare. Eaton's Jar he plays, and he names Infernus, so no Infernuses for anybody. Until he does have Harvest Time. He could potentially take out his own artifacts. I'm not sure if he'd want to do that. And then he plays Stirring Grave on Infomorph. Nunzio comes back, discards an Infernus, plays a Brabble, Soulkeeper on the Brabble. The Soulkeeper also had a draw pip, so he's going to get some extra archiving with Chronos, discards a Hystricog to archive more, and uses Dominator Bobble to use Xenosaurus to reap. Up to 5 Ember. And we finally got it. We got the classic JDG thinking. All right, we've made it. Yeah, they are off and running. Pretty interesting that he jarred Infernus with him having 2, but with Nunzio having 3, maybe he's played through it and knows that he might have the advantage. He goes into Star Alliance, plays Survey, draws a card, uses it to discard Lieutenant Commander Trigon from the draw pile, but then discards Subject Kirby, Red Alert, and his other Subject Kirby to feed his autoencoder. He's down to 6 in draw, 10 in the archives. Nunzio goes into Diffs, discards Bonesaw, reaps with Brabble, uses Dominator Bobble to reap with Xenosaurus to get to check at 7. Library card could be crazy. Maybe, let's see, I'm not sure what type library card is. It's an item. So JDG does have Harvest Time for potential artifact control, but item would take out autoencoder, Eaton's Jar, Dominator Bobble, the other autoencoder, And then library card. Is that worth it? I don't know. Ooh, JDG goes into disc, plays Grim Reminder, brings back all of his Star Alliance, 2 Subject Kirby's, 2 Sensor Chief Garcias, and a Lieutenant Commander Trigon. And mark a disc into Saurian for Nunzio. But Nunzio does get his first key. So, of course, Nunzio has to go into Saurian. He discards his Praefectus Ludo and Faust the Great and his other Praefectus Ludo to archive 3 cards and reaps with Xenosaurus. Up to 9 in the archives, 14 in discard, 0 in the draw for Nunzio. JDG goes back into Logos, plays an Eclectic Inquiry to archive 2, discards a Torado, discards a QMX, now has 19 in archives. He flips his deck, so 9 back into the draw. I wonder if there's an end state where he can just keep cycling. Everything's in the archive, and he can just keep cycling Logos, maybe? I'm not sure which is the best. Star Alliance, Logos, or Dis? Yeah, I'm not sure. Now, once JDG does decide to establish a board, Pitbull has very, very limited creature control. So that is also going to be interesting when he decides to pull that trigger. We know he could establish a huge board with Star Alliance and with having those 2 Subject Kirby's when he decides the time is right. Hey, what's up, Murph? Yeah, JDG definitely does love to set up a big hold the line. It seems like Nunzio's also been playing around that, hasn't been trying to create too big of a board. Does Grim Reminder have a draw pip? Good question. So that he could keep cycling? It does, yeah. And then he's got Chew, the Subdue, and the Survey in Star Alliance. Yeah, I believe he's cycled the Star Alliance on me before in NKFL. He definitely can do that. Nunzio is pulling out a thinking of his own. JDG says, "Hey, that's my line." Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Murph. We're the night shift. Although it's great because then most of the rest of the world is available to watch the match. So my normal waking hours, still working on calculus and chemistry homework. Hey, multitasking. They're going to need to do a little bit of calculus for this match for sure. All right, Nunzio decides to play the library card. He knows JDG has the harvest time if he wants it. So he pulls out the library card, deals 1 damage to Brabble. The other thing he might have been thinking about is he doesn't want JDG to get Markadis back after the library card comes out. So library card comes out, QMX is played to draw 1, Cronus reaps, discards the other Cronus, discards a Researcher Smoko, discards Infomorph, discards Bot Bookton, discards Research Smoko. So Head moved everything to his hand and then discarded a whole bunch to fill it back up with 6. JGG immediately thinking. So now the question is, Does he let the library card live? That's one of the questions. And then for Nunzio, he just discarded a whole bunch of Logos cards. Is he trying to cycle it back and actually just let it sit out there for a bit and not use it right away? He must be. Yeah, good point. Once the harvest time comes into play, then if he goes after the items, then Infernus is unleashed. JDG goes into disc, just discards Grim Reminder and Bonesaw to archive a couple more. Not probably worried about the library card yet, just because he discarded 6. There's 2 on the board. There's 2 artifacts, so he's only got 2 Logos cards left, and they're probably in the draw pile or in the archives. Yeah, if Nunzio can get enough non-logos in the archives, he can go infinite on the library card turn. Good call. So he definitely has to protect against that. Nunzio goes discs, takes his archives again. Interesting. 14 cards in hand. So this is where I believe JDG can go infinite, because we haven't seen hold the line yet. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, maybe he just wants to feed the autoencoder more. So Pain Reaction comes down, he reaps with Brabble, he discards an Infernus, 2 Infernuses to feed the autoencoder. He does play Cinder. Plays an Anguish with a draw pip, gets some more archiving. He does have a lot of draw pips in this, although most of them are on Infernus. Also plays an Imp Spectre and uses Dominator Bauble to reap with Chronos to get to check. Okay, the Star Alliance hold the line play is on, and we're going infinite there. He takes his archives. He subdues, he surveys. He plays Centrifuge Garcia to increase key costs. He plays access denied on it, but then kills it with his Hadron Collision. He plays hold the line again to draw it all back again. Starting to damage the Anguish. Probably will finish it off with one of the Hadron Collisions at some point. Again, plays access denied on it for Ember. Uses Hadron Collision to destroy the Center Chief Garcia. So this is kind of the second cycle. Here's the third cycle coming. Subdue, Survey, Center Chief Garcia. Huh, he did 1 damage to the Imp Spectre. That's interesting. Hadron Collision on the Center Chief Garcia again after access denied. Hold the line to draw it all back. Subdue. He's also, with the Subdue, able to stun everything, of course. I guess he's just going creature by creature. Center Chief Garcia comes out. The access denied for more Ember. He's already up to 21 Ember. Hadron Collision to kill it again. Hold the line to draw it all again. It's easy. Double first turn autoencoder. That's pretty wild. Got a next cycle here. Subdue and survey. Damaging the Xenosaurus and stunning it. The Center Chief Garcia with access denied. Hadron collision. Hold the line to draw it all again. And yet again. This time he subdues his Center Chief Garcia because he doesn't want to destroy the Brabble or the QMEX. And kills it with a Hadron collision and says check at 29. With a key cost of 18 for Nunzio for playing the Center Chief Garcia 6 times. There's just a damage as part of the subdue. So deal 1 damage to a creature and stun it. So that's why they all got a damage. Yeah. Okay, Nunzio goes into Saurian, takes his archive, plays Amphora Captura, plays Aethero Centurion, plays Galeotops, going big board. Let's see, also in Saurian, he does have Faust the Great. Let's see, no, none in the discard. So he might be able to make the key cost a lot. And he also has 2 defense initiatives. So let's see what he can do here. The Thero comes out. The Galeotops, Prefectus Ludo, Faust the Great. Deciding where to exalt, probably. Yeah, that's true. Another reason not to destroy the creatures is to not reduce the hold the line value. Good call. His second Faust the Great comes out. The first exalt was on Imp Spectre. Second exalt is on QMAX. I guess with the double Hadron Collision, JDG has both Red Alert and double Hadron Collision. So he can just wipe this whole board, even with the defense initiatives. Almost the whole board. But he can at least get the key Faust the Greats. A second Ludo comes out. Archiving due to a drop hip on it. So I would imagine he'd want to protect his Faust and Ludos. Because when everything else dies, he doesn't want all that Ember to go there. All 3 Prefectus Ludos coming out. Uses the damage pip to capture with the Amphora Captura. Plays defense initiative toward 2 of the Ludos and a Faust the Great. Let's see if he's got the other one as well. He's also going to cycle his deck here to start getting some of that logos back for a potential library card play. I'm not sure if he's got enough Ember control if he can't keep the Faust alive. The second defense initiative does come down, warding the other Faust, Ludo, and Galeotops. And he says check with 7. And JDG gets a key for paying 23 Ember for that key. All right, JDG goes quickly into Star Alliance, hold the line, drawing all the deck again and play Survey, Hadron Collision. Actually, cycling all the Hadron Collisions and then Red Alert will take out the whole board. He won't get the Ember, or actually, he could potentially take out the Ludos too. He probably doesn't have enough plays to do that. We'll see. All right, he takes out both Faust the Greats. And then the key cost starts with Center Chief Garcia. Maybe he doesn't want to do the Red Alert so that he keeps his hold the line value. He doesn't really care as long as the Fausts are off the board. So, because he can make it the key cost 18 every turn, so he can outrun anything. JDG going through his cycle. Up to 24 Ember. A few more to go. Ends his turn with check at 26 and key cost up to 14 for Nunzio. All right, Nunzio decides to go for his library card turn. So purges it, exhausts his Chronos, reaps with QMX. Research Shmoko comes down. I think this is probably too little too late, and even if he's got everything in hand, I'm not sure if he'd have a way to stop him anyway. Yeah, one Hadron Collision and a Subdue would take out a Faust. Okay, Researcher Shmoko, drawing a card. Master the Theory with a draw pip, so he'll get to draw 2 there, and also archive 1. Second Chronos coming down. Lethalogica, which gets him to his Research Shmoko. Infomorph is coming down with another draw pip, and so he is going infinite as well. Double infinite in the same game. Playing out booked in, and then he's got Master the Theory, Lethalogica. Super interactive Mass Mutation matchup gameplay. Exactly. What's up, Taves? Yeah, this is what happens when both players get autoencoder turn 1. Alright, just cycling his Master the Theory and Lethalogica. I'm wondering if he's also able to then... Yeah, with both Chronos out there, he pretty much gets to archive the rest of his deck as well. Okay, with the Cyberclone, he decides to kill the QMax. And what did he purge? He purged Research Smoko. Cycling his cards. Probably just about out of rule of 6 here. Yes, this is the first game. What's up, cats and dogs? They both got autoencoder turn 1. And both of them have gone infinite. Rule of 16, multiple cards. Alright, Nunzio gets up to 15 Ember. JDG already has his whole deck in hand. Already at check for his third key, but expect him to get a whole bunch more Ember here as well. And make the key cost probably 18? Not sure if there's any... I guess the Faust will come back out, or at least one of them next turn. So yeah, he's got to make the key cost 18. At least one of the Fausts will come out. Does he kill some of these creatures with Ember on it so that... Doesn't look like he's going to, but he is getting all those Logos creatures stunned. Yeah, he might Red Alert to end it, but then that also potentially kills his combo. And Inspector might hit something really critical. And we know the Faust can come out, but I guess with check with 28, he can do the math and say, even if you have both Fausts, with all these other Saurian creatures already out, would he have enough to stop me? Probably not. Let's see what he decides to do. Alright, so he's rule of 6. His hold the line, subdue, survey, Censor Chief Garcia, Axis Denied, and Hadron Collision. So 6 cards there. Or he's about to rule of 6 them. Alright, was that 6? There it is. Key cost is up to 18. Check with 34 does not end with a red alert. So this game will go on, I believe, because of the Faust. Can it go on with just one Faust? How many do we got here? Key cost is up to 31, so he does need both Fausts. Alright, so it'll just go on one more turn, I think. Defense initiative again to ward them, not that it matters. Second defense initiative on the Ludos. Key cost up to 37. And JDG goes back into Star Alliance. And repeat. And Nunzio concedes. Okay, yeah. Good call on the game logs. I got the logs. Let me make sure it has it all. Yeah. This game log is, I think, 4 times as long as the one that I did yesterday. Okay. Good thing I got the log right away because they were pretty quick on that. All right. On to game 2. Now, are we going to have another autoencoder opening? We will see. Let me update the score. Let's see. Hey, Nunzio's still on top. I don't have to redo stuff. Yay. All right. On to game 2. Yeah, whole deck in hand, pretty much for both of them at the end there. Okay, this time Nunzio starts with Brabble. And JDG starts with Eclectic Inquiry and starts discarding creatures to feed that hold the line in the future, even though he doesn't have autoencoder out. Nunzio plays Lethalogica, takes Cyberclone, QMax Research Schmoko, and bought Booked In, and discards a Cyberclone. Alright. GDG goes back into logos. QMax. Positron Bolt to kill his own QMax, and in turn. No autoencoders all the way to turn 3 yet. But Curiosaurus does come down. Praefectus Ludo with a draw pip. Discarding another Praefectus Ludo and playing Faust the Great and a defense initiative. Interesting. Didn't want to damage his own. Okay, JDG needs some creature control, goes into Starlines, plays a Red Alert, gets rid of a bunch. Brabble does make JGG lose some Ember, but then in QMax's Archive, and then JGG plays Survey and discards Booked In with it. Alright, Nunzio goes into this. Plays Dominator Bauble. Plays Cinder. We have 5 Infernus, and we haven't seen an Infernus played yet. Are we going to have one? Yes, we are. Anguish comes down, and Infernus comes down. What is he going to hit? He's got to hit that Survey, right? And maybe the Eclectic Inquiry or the Red Alert? Not sure what he's going to hit here. He hits the Survey and Eclectic Inquiry, getting one of the combo pieces. JGG goes into this. Maybe he's going to have his own. Dominator Bauble comes down. Harvest Time comes down to purge demons, taking out Cinder, Infernus, and Anguish, and then using Infernus to purge Infernus and Lethalogica from his discard pile. So 2 Infernus is gone from Nunzio's deck. He does have one more. And then with his second Infernus, JDG purges from his own deck Positron Bolt and Munchling. Nunzio comes back and gets autoencoder on the board and double Cronus, reaping with Bob Booked into play Theros Centurion. And playing QMax as well, and Library card also comes down, using it to destroy QMax to archive it. Oh, this is a much different feel, this game. It's exciting. Master of the Theory is also played, and able to archive 2 cards off the Cronus since it has a draw pip. JDG goes into Dis. Marketus into Saurian. The Infernus finishes off the Praefectus Ludo. And the other Infernus finishes off the Faust the Great. And then JDG Grim Reminders for his diffs, bringing back his Infernus to his archive. And passes turn. So with 2 more Infernus, he could either surgically strike some of Nunzio's key pieces or get rid of even more from his deck. Nunzio goes into Saurian after being forced there. Discards Galeotops, feeding the autoencoder. Reaps with Theros-Centurion. And discards Xenosaurus. He knows he doesn't probably want to feed the hold the line too much, and then also it helps more archives help set up his library card play. JDG goes into Logos. He finally gets his autoencoder and also plays even Ivan while discarding Infomorph and Mind Over Matter. Apparently he wanted to stop that key. Nunzio goes into Dis. Pain reaction on the even Ivan. Imp Spectre comes down. Discards a Bone Saw to get some archiving going. And who does he use with Dominator Bobble? Soul Keeper is attached to Imp Spectre. He also is able to archive a couple cards due to the draw pip on Soul Keeper. And he uses a Dominator Bobble to reap with Bot booked in and play a Brabble, and then also plays his last Infernus, damaging his Imp Spectre with a damage, and taking out Market of Dis and Harvest Time. JGG immediately says thinking, and Nunzio gets a check at 8. And he's still waiting to get his Eaton's Jar, and I'm guessing we're gonna see a different ban here, since 2 of the Infernus are already purged, and now that the other one's on the board, he could actually even purge it this turn if he decides to get rid of his even Ivan. But probably not the top of the priorities. We'll have to see what he does. And that would also mean taking his archives, which probably is quite messy with all the autoencoder archives. He decides to go into Star Alliance and gets a nice, huge hold the line, drawing 6 cards. 18 in hand now. Discards Lieutenant Commander Trigon. Discards Center Chief Garcia. Discards Access Denied. And that's his whole draw pile, so any more discarding he still might do, but it just wouldn't give any more archives. He plays a Subject Kirby to play Infernus and decides to get his own and gets booked in an Infomorph. The second subject shirt, Kirby comes down, and Infernus again, hitting his own discard. There's only 2 in Nunzio's. What else does he clean out of his deck? That's a tough choice. Lieutenant Commander Trigon and Grim Reminder. And then JDG plays Subdue to protect his discard if somehow Nunzio's able to get Infernus back and cycles his deck. Now, what's interesting here, we know JDG now has Eaton's Jar in hand as well. But he's still going. He discards his Hadron Collision to archive another card. Probably trying to get back to the hold the line, at least in archives to set it up for next turn or a future turn. And since he's down to only 2 again in the drop pile, oh, make that 1. He discarded a Hadron Collision, discarded Access Denied, discarded Sensor Chief Garcia, and his other Hadron Collision, archiving his whole draw pile. So he's definitely got hold the line again. But he does have some really juicy stuff here. Unfortunately, the only Infernus Nunzio has is on the board. Let's see, he's got 9 in archives. Does he have enough to do his library card churn? He does get his first key, Pain 6 Ember. All right, he's going Logos. Not ready for the library card play yet. He discards Research Smoko and the second one and Cyberclone. Reaps with Chronos. Uses his Chronos to fight Infernus. And unstuns Bach Bookton and passes. So now he's got 6 in hand, 3 in the draw, 11 in the archives. The Lethalogica is purged. That hurts his library card churn. Okay, JDG goes Logos and takes his archives. Effervescent Principle. Now let's see, he's got a Q-Max, I believe, so that he can cycle his deck. Because really, he probably wants to get all of his Star Alliance and his discard back into his archive. But I could be wrong. Let's see what he does. Even Ivan fights off the Infernus. And then he plays Mind Over Matter to archive all the creatures. Plays his Q-Max to cycle and starts discarding Oddclad and Professor Torado to archive 2 cards. Okay, I would think Nunzio goes library card turn here, especially since he just put more Logos creatures in his archives. But I'm not sure what his best play is here. JDG still has the Eaton's Jar that he hasn't played, and still has the possibility to go infinite with Hold the Line, depending how many creatures get out there. All right, Nunzio goes Logos, discards Research Smoko, discards Cyberclone, discards Research, has a second Research Smoko, archives 3, cycles his deck, only 2 in the draw, 19 in archives. Interesting. Hey, Snoopy. How's it going? All right, JDG goes into Dis. So, shall we finally see the Eaton's Jar here? And what else are we going to see? Is he going to hit some of his own cards with Infernus? Sounds good. All right, Eaton's Jar comes out. What is he going to name? Master of the Theory. And then he starts feeding his archives a bit, discarding Bonesaw and Drekker, plays Pandemonium to capture one and get an Ember. Discards Wiki Nightmare, plays Stirring Grave to archive Odd Clawed, and uses Dominator Bobble Reap with QMX to get to check. So this is interesting. We got 2 Infernus Purge on Nunzio's side, but he still has that one more Infernus. Let's see, I'm wondering if Nunzio was trying to get so he could go infinite without playing creatures. But now with Lethalogica gone and Master the Theory banned, or with Eaton's Jar, he can't. He can no longer go infinite. He doesn't have anything that he can cycle. So now what does he do? This is the only Saurian pod in the whole tournament. Interesting. Is there any win condition here for Nunzio? He goes Dis. Takes his archive, so 25 cards in hand. Inspector comes out. Soul Keeper on top of Inspector. How many creatures is he gonna play? Pain Reaction on the QMX. Huh, interesting how he ordered that. Discards Hystricog, discards Bonesaw, discards Brabble, so only leaves one creature on the board, an Inspector. So maybe he's gonna try and start killing his own. Does he have... He doesn't have a lot of creature control. Is there a way for him to kill his own cards? I guess Xenosaurus? That's it? Potentially? Okay, JGG goes Star Alliance. Discards Censor Chief Garcia to archive a card. Plays Subdue. Discards Red Alert. Discards Hold the Line. Discards Hadron Collision. Or sorry, plays Hadron Collision to kill the Inspector to purge Professor Torado at random, and had enough that he discarded an archive to cycle his deck again. 6 in hand, 2 in the draw, 14 in the archives, 11 of his own cards purged. Most of those self-purged. Alright, Nunzio goes Logos, plays QMX, discards Research Smoko, discards Bot Booked In, discards Infomorph, discards Research Smoko, and discards Master the Theory, archiving his whole draw pile. And passes turn. And JDG will think about it. Let's see, Nunzio's deck, it's got to be one of the decks with the least number of Ember Pips. He's only got 6 Ember Pips. We already saw Master the Theory banned. Lethologica's purged. So he's got Pain Reaction and Soul Keeper that I think he's going to want to cycle here. And his other Infernus, I believe, was Purge as well. That had the Ember Pip. Yeah. So without playing creatures, he's not going to be gaining Ember that fast. So JDG goes into disc, plays Waking Nightmare, discards Drekker, discards Bonesaw. So all of his cards now are in hand or archives. Nunzio goes into Logos, reaps with QMX, double discards Chronos. And passes over to JGG, who goes Star Alliance. And now is finally ready to cycle Rule of 6. Because he's got both Hold the Line and one card with a draw pip. Now, he might not be able to cycle as effectively, or as many cards here. It is indeed the lowest pip deck, yep. He won't be able to cycle as many cards here, because there's only one creature for the Hold the Line. So we'll have to see how he approaches this. Hold the Line comes out first. Draws a card. Which I don't think there was any to draw. But at least gets an Ember. Access denied goes on the QMX. Subdue the QMX. With that draw pipe, he did get back Hold the Line. Now he plays Hold the Line here, but with the creature gone, I guess, oh yeah, with the QMX out. I didn't think about that his only other card with a draw pip was Subdue, and with the QMX out, it would just die right away. So very well played by Nunzio to stop that. He does play Subject Kirby and plays a QMX to get one more draw. Then discards Hadron Collision and Sensor Chief Garcia to get Hold the Line and the Subdue back in his archives. Or he may have drew one of those as well. And then plays a Hadron Collision on his QMX. to archive it. Can't wrap your head around one of these decks going up against Grim Reminder and later, because it's too slow. Well, JDGs can definitely, once it gets to its end state, it definitely can, and kind of with Eaton's Jar and the Infernus, he's got enough to slow you down so that he can get to his end state. But it all depends how fast the deck is that he's playing against. And in these, he was slowed down by getting Infernus with some stuff, getting autoencoder late in this game. I'm not as familiar with Nunzio's deck and how it performs against Grim Reminders. Alright, Nunzio goes Saurian, plays out Amphora Captura. JDG did get to check at 6. But Nunzio plays out a Ludo with a damage pip, which he uses a capture instead. Then he plays a defense initiative on subject Kirby and wards Kirby and exalts it. Very interesting. Of course, he can still Hadron Collision and it doesn't really matter. And then he decides to leave it like that. So, but he does get up to check at 6 and he stops JDG. But JDG goes quickly into Star Alliance, taking his archives. Both Hadron Collision are in the discard, but he does have 2 cards that allow him to draw, but he also doesn't want to leave Hold the Line in the discard, or either of them in the discard. So he plays Subdue. Nunzio says, looks like there's a Quixel in this game. Yeah, the way they have to play. So, flips his deck with a Subdue draw pile. Draw pip. Uses subject Kirby to Reap to allow them to play 1 non-Star Alliance creature this turn. Not sure if he will, though. He had a 2 and 3 chance to draw a Hadron Collision. Now he does play the QMX. We know he can stop this key if he wants because he has Center Chief Garcias. There's the Hold the Line, which doesn't do anything because he's got more creatures. So both of his draw enablers are now in the discard. And I believe Nunzio actually has his other Infernus available to him. Does he have a way to get those back? He discards Center Chief Garcia to empty his draw pile, so he just needs 1 more draw to be able to cycle this back. Access denied, going on QMax, destroying it with Hadron Collision. The Center Chief Garcia coming out to stop the key and going to check at 9, but this does leave Nunzio open to Infernusing his combo pieces. He goes quickly into Dis. Ooh, this just got interesting. Uses the Dominator Bauble to unstun Ludo. Plays Inspector. Plays Hystricog. Plays Bonesaw. The Infernus comes down. Also has a damage pip. Which he uses to take the ward off of Kirby. And what does Nunzio purge? The hold the line and access denied. Interesting. The hold the line's a big one though, because that lets him now go wide on board. The pain reaction comes down, capturing and taking out the Kirby, damaging the Garcia. Brabble comes down. Now we know JDG still has a red alert as well, so he still has answers for big boards. And then Soulkeeper comes out on Nunzio to Imp Spectre. Capturing instead of getting the Ember to take JDG off a check and getting to check himself at 6. Very tight matchup. JDG is thinking. He's got 13 in cards in hand. He's pretty much got his whole discs and logos except what's purged. He decides to go logos, take his archives. Effervescent Principle comes down. Mind over Matter comes down. Taking all that captured Ember, getting him up to check at 7. Discards the Odd Clawed, plays a QMX, and discards even Ivan. And passes turn. Check at 7. That Mind over Matter is really powerful against this capture heavy. Both the Hadron colliders and the Hadron collision and the red alerts and the Mind over Matter, all super good against this capture heavy deck with all the wards as well. Alright, but Nunzio is going to the Saurian. JDG was able to flip his deck, so he may have redrew the Mind over Matter, or it's in his very short draw pile of 3. So Therios Centurion comes down. Galiotops is discarded to archive more. Ludo comes down and captures. Faust comes down. Xenosaurus comes down and it exalts to kill the Kilmex, and Defense Initiative wards the Faust and the Ludo and the Xenosaurus. And then he discards the other Defense Initiative, Ludo and Faust the Great, to feed the archive. But isn't able to cycle his deck. So there are some juicy stuff in the discard. The Faust, the Defense Initiatives. Nunzio says, oops, bad count. He was hoping to cycle his deck there. And JDG does play his Infernuses, takes out Defense Initiative and Soulkeeper from Nunzio, and then also takes out the Faust the Great and the Ludo. This is like a torturing each of these decks, taking piece by piece. Discards his Bonesaw to archive. Discards a Pandemonium to archive. Discards a Drekker and plays a Stirring Grave to archive Oddclawed. And then plays Waking Nightmare. But not at check because of the Faust the Great, even though he's at 7 Ember. So let's see. I forget. JDG. Forget if he is already able to redraw his Effervescent Principle or if it's in his draw. But Nunzio goes Thorian, reaps 4 times, gets to check at 6, and passes back. Always be checking. JDG goes in the Star Alliance. Of course, has some Sensor Chief Garcia's here. And Hadron Collision. So we can definitely take out the Faust. And there it goes. Hadron Collision there to remove the ward and do 3 damage. Another one on the Ludo. Then uses Red Alert to kill both the Faust and Ludo and remove the other ward and slightly damage the Thero Centurion. Subdues the Xenosaurus. Plays Sensor Chief Garcia. Discards the other Garcia to feed those archives. Plays Subject Kirby. And plays even Ivan off of that. Plays a second Subject Kirby. Hey, what's up, Algernon? Real Keyforge. Real long Keyforge. And plays Oddclawed off of that. Up to check at 8. Taking Nunzio off the key with the key cost from the Sensor Chief Garcia. Nunzio goes Logos, takes his cards. He plays double Cronus. I wonder, shouldn't he be using his library card here? I mean, it probably doesn't matter, but maybe he'd prefer to have his stuff in the archives actually than in his hand. I'm sure he's got a much better plan than I do. So he discards Researcher Smoko. Research Smoko bot booked in the other Smoko to archive 3 cards. Plays Infomorph, which has a draw pip on it, and also allows Kronos to archive 2 more. Discards Master the Theory and Research Smoko. And the Infomorph nicely flipped the deck there as well. Plays Cyber Clone to purge one of the Infernus. And passes, and JDG gets his second key, while Nunzio is at check for his second at 7. We're getting low here in time, actually. 6 minutes and 20 seconds left. JDG steals twice with the even Ivan Oddclaw combo to take Nunzio off a check, then plays discards Effervescent Principle, plays Mind Over Matter to archive all creatures, plays QMax, gets the check with both the stealing and some of the ember that came off of Nunzio's creatures, and passes turn. Nunzio goes quickly into Logos, moves all cards to hand, plays both Kronos again. Autoencoder is going to lock up the Archives Play Crown in my analyzer. Yeah, for sure. This one's been nuts. Infomorph comes down to draw an archive. Let's see, does he have another card that he can capture with a for a Captura here? I don't remember. But Bookton comes down, Research Smoko comes down, the other Smoko comes down, Cyberclone comes down, which does have a damage pip which he uses to capture on the Smoko, and then purges the QMX. Takes JDG off a check, down to 5 Ember, doesn't quite get to check himself. JDG goes quickly into Dis, Waking Nightmare, discards Bonesaw, plays Stirring Grave to archive Bonesaw, gets another couple Ember, and passes back. Check at 7. Back and forth they go. Alright, Nunzio goes into Dis, gets an Infernus out. Let's see, there are 2 juicy pips in JDG's discard pile, so of course takes Waking Nightmare and Stirring Grave to get him off a check, and also with the damage pip on Infernus, captures. Then plays Pain Reaction, Inspector, Hystricog, and Bonesaw, which means it's probably time for a red alert. He is able to use Dominator Bauble to reap one to get to check at 7. JGG goes into Star Alliance very quickly, plays a red alert to kill everything. The Inspector purges a Hadron Collision, and the Brabble does make JDG lose 3. But he does wipe the board, gets 3 Ember back, or maybe 2 Ember back from captured Ember. Plays the Subdue to flip his deck, I believe. Plays Subject Kirby with the Infernus. Purges Nunzio's last Infernus and the Cyberclone. Plays Censors Chief Garcia to keep him off a check. Discards a Red Alert and Hadron Collision. Plays Subject Kirby. To then play Even Ivan. And a second Censor Chief Garcia comes down as well. Not quite at check yet, but passes over, knowing Nunzio doesn't have a lot of creature control. So his key cost is 10, not able to forge. Goes quickly into Saurian, takes all his archives, plays Thero Centurion, Xenosaurus, which he exalts, and takes out a Censor Chief Garcia. Galiotops and Ludo comes out. Capturing some more, and a Faust the Great also comes out. And another Ludo with a damage pip, which he decides to use to capture instead. And a defense initiative comes out to ward the Ludo, Faust, and Xenosaurus. The red alert now is in the discard. Brabble is the animal in the 3-player Vault Assault. What's up, Egad? JDG comes back, plays Effervescent Principle, uses Even Ivan to fight Xenosaurus to break the ward, then use Mind Over Matter to archive all creatures, and then plays Oddclad. Nunzio quickly goes back into Saurian, plays out all of his Saurian creatures again, and reaps with the Faust, and with the Praefectus Ludo takes out Oddclad, wiping the Ember. Oh no, he was able to do his place 1 Ember on Oddclad, which he would then get back, and then wipe the other one with Ludo. So he gets to check at 6. JGG goes into Dis. Plays Strecker, plays Pandemonium to take him off that second key, discards Bonesaw, and passes turn. Nunzio goes quickly into Saurian. The time is almost up here. Time is called. Whoa. Okay, time is up. The game will end after the current round is finished. That was really weird on the timing, actually. I'm not sure. So how should we do tiebreaker rules? Well, so it said time is up. The game will end after the current round. So I think it knew that it went to 0 on Nunzio's turn. So then JDG's turn would be the last turn, I believe, is what TCO is more or less saying. Yeah. So the question is, did it end on Nunzio's turn or JDG's turn? I think we got to go by TCO, right? Yeah, it was like 2 seconds or so before Nunzio's ended. And that's why I went to the 59 whatever. So let's see, what are his options here? Oh, I guess he redrew stuff. Oh yeah, so he does have mind over matter? That's probably enough to win it. I think he's got that. All right, GDG goes into Logos, plays Effervescent Principle, taking Nunzio from 9 to 5, plays Mind Over Matter, archive all creatures, gets up to 6 Ember himself, a key up, and I think that's the game. That should be the game because JDG's got more keys. Yep, thanks. Got it. I mean, even if Nunzio did play another turn, I don't think it'd matter. They're still playing anyway, but he just ends, and there we go. So congratulations to JGG. Okay, I'm gonna copy the log again, so we have the ending of the game here. All right, we got both logs. That second game was definitely a lot different from that first game. The Infernus is coming out, taking away some of the key pieces. Autoencoder's coming late. Definitely more of a struggle. Taking the full 45 minutes. Let me make sure these logs are saved off. Okay. Whew. Yeah, great games to both of them. We can take a look at the video, Riku, because it is really curious, especially since it gave Nunzio. I think there's a bug. That's what I'm guessing because we definitely saw the time end on Nunzio's turn, but um, Unfathomable's right. Like the message didn't show up until it was JDG's turn, and then it did give Nunzio an extra turn, which it shouldn't have. So, um, but we have the recording. We can take a look. Yeah, well, that's our purge counter. 29 purge cards overall. Okay. So, all right, let me. So, thanks everybody for watching. There are a lot more Final Refrain games being streamed the rest of the week. Every day there's multiple games being streamed. So, definitely go to Discord, check out um, the events. Tomorrow we have Sith of Anger versus Dr. Sheep on Fudginators. At we have Harm versus Magic Duck on Friday. On Lord Judo's, we have Shaka versus Lord Judo on Sundays. Cat Marrow versus Unfathomable also on Friday on Astrons. On Saturday, we have Ewok Jr. versus Astron on Sunday's Twitch. And on Sunday, we have Bamboo versus Mugogi on Mugogi's YouTube. Also on Sunday, we have Dorian11 versus Benji Kino on Dinobots. And then also on Sunday, we have Rico versus Lorenzo. So, lots of amazing matches coming up. My next stream will be Friday, where I will be streaming a Kagi match at more or less 2 hours before now. So, a half hour before the time that this match started. So, hopefully, I'll see some of you on Friday. Friday for me, Saturday for some of you. Definitely watch some of these streams. Lots of great streamers. And lots of amazing matches. Lots of cool decks. Let's see. Okay. Here, it's a Discord link. Sorry about that. All right. That's a stream, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. But, as always, forge responsibly. See y'all later. Bye.